Shit! Fuck!
Welcome to Mysteries and Mimosas. My name is Max Sterling, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Aria.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks, Aria. Hey, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Max?
I'm doing real good. So today, what are we talking about? You don't know?
I don't know.
Put you on the spot.
You did.
All right. Well, let's start with our trivia.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Excuse me. I'm sorry to barge in. I'm so sorry to barge in.
Heck is that?
But I heard you
Can I
guys
help you?
You guys help with mysteries.
We absolutely do.
My grandma is in a hospital with some sort of vaginal problems, and she didn't tell me where she is. She didn't tell me what hospital she's in. She's gone missing. I can't find her.
Calm down. Calm down. First, let's start with your name.
My name?
Your name.
Gerald McGumphrey.
Gerald, you don't seem too sure about that, Gerald McGumphrey.
Yeah, Gerald McGumphrey.
McGrumpy?
That's my name. It's the name the Lord and Savior gave me.
Oh, okay. So what's the problem? Let's slow down. Take it one step at a time.
My grandma.
Your grandmother is in peril?
She's lost. She went to a hospital, but we don't know where she is. We don't know what hospital she's in. I need a detective to help find my poor...
Hold on a minute. Aria, get on the computer. Let's see if we can Google this.
No, you must go. You must go out into the world and find my grandmother.
All right. Calm down. Your grandmother's injured. You mentioned something about her vaginal cavity.
Her vagina is ruined. She's ruined.
Okay,
detective.
Sounds like...
Please.
Has she been assaulted?
I mean, maybe with that big old dick of her boyfriend, but right now she's in terrible pain. She's in a hospital. All I got was a note from a dove, from a carrier pigeon, and it's the only way she knows how to communicate. So please go find her.
Where do we start, Max?
I guess we follow him out. Yeah, let's show us to your grandmother.
Yes, and don't mind that other guy. His name is
What other guy?
Finn.
Hello, I'm Finn.
He's Finn. And
Don't mind me.
And he's my what was it called when the doctors give you someone to help you with disability?
I'm his caretaker, Finn.
Thank you, my caretaker, Finn. Oh. He's here with me because that's why he's here. Now go find my grandmother.
But before we go anywhere, though, can you just tell us how you got into this building? It's very secure.
It's a secure facility.
Google showed me the way.
Oh, yeah, I think something's weird here.
For sure.
I'm going to go investigate. I think that they broke in.
Yeah.
No.
You stay here and you hold down
Jimmy,
the podcast.
smoke bomb!
Oh, God, what the...
Jeremy, time
I gotta
up!
get out of here.
Something doesn't feel right about this.
What are you doing?
Tie up these people.
Are those shoelaces? Are you tying me up with your shoelaces, sir? How dare you?
Well, that's all I had. You know you have to improvise sometimes. But anyway, we're here to steal your podcast, actually.
Why would you do that?
So your grandma's not in peril?
Because we're going to do it better, faster, stronger, and hornier.
Yeah, wait a minute. Your grandma's not in any trouble.
Well, she's in heat.
She's always getting herself in trouble.
You know, has anyone told you sound like Will Forte?
You know,
I
actually...
don't even know who that is, man.
Actually, Mike, he sounds an awful lot like Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio?
Mm-hmm.
I do know who that is.
Yes.
I am a child of the 80s,
Okay.
and I appreciate a good Karate Kid movie.
Absolutely.
He doesn't sound anything like
sounds
Ralph
just
Macchio.
Jeremy, best Karate Kid movie, go. 1, 2, or 3.
Well, yeah, the first one, the original.
Clearly, it's not the one without Ralph Macchio.
Right.
It's not that one.
No, I like the one with, what was it, Hillary Swank? Who was that?
I like how we're stealing their podcast and we've just entered into this fun banter.
Oh.
Right. Wait.
Well, anyway.
You're welcome.
I will
What
let
is
you go if you
happening?
go find my grandma. She really is in danger. Poor Inga Bubba.
She keeps trying to
Okay,
have
I will
sex
go
with all-
find your grandmother.
Okay.
I will make sure that her big dick boyfriend is brought to justice.
Thank
and
you.
I will come back, leaving our podcast in good hands with you.
Okay, that's all. Thank you so much. We will pay you nothing to do this.
All you had to do was ask. You didn't have to tie me up.
That seemed way easier than all of the smoke bombs and the
100%.
tying up.
Smoke bombs are expensive.
It was a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
could have
could've
saved
saved-
those for the next
yeah.
time.
I've been awake for days, lost in a foggy haze. I search for answers, search for reasons. Regrets a heavy chain, it's left me tied to blame. I'm losing time, I'm losing seasons. I carry these prisons in my eyes. I sleepwalk blind to the sunrise. I dissemble while the world is sleeping. It's only me and my demons, an endless dark. I dream of dreaming. It's only me and my demons. The question marks, they leave me screaming. It's only me and my demons. I toss and turn away. I'm trapped in yesterday. Inside me, and heavy breathing. There's forces in my brain. I feel like gone insane. Reality can be deceiving. I carry these prisons in my eyes. I sleepwalk blind to the sunrise. I dissemble while the world is sleeping. It's only me and my demons, an endless dark. I dream of dreaming. It's only me and my demons. The question marks, they leave me screaming. It's only me and my demons.
Welcome to Michael and Jeremy Studio Podcast. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, Mike.
How are you?
I'm doing okay, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay, and we're here to hunt down a mystery today.
Do you hunt mysteries?
You hunt them.
I think you solve them.
Right, but you solve them by hunting them. You hunt the mystery.
With a
you
spear.
hunt it down. With a speeder?
The spear
Oh, with a spear.
with nunchucks.
So you're going to Star Wars
You hunt him down with,
with a
nun-
speeder and a lightsaber.
with midichlorians.
But anyway, I do have an exciting mystery for you today. As we're stealing mysteries and mimosas. And what's the mimosa that we have to drink today, Jeremy?
We have a maple mimosa.
And I'll tell everyone at home how to make this wonderful drink that we are enjoying today. You're going to start with a pitcher, right? Because you're going to be serving this up in quantity. So in that pitcher, 1/2 cup of Fuller's Sugar House pure maple syrup. That goes in.
Fantastic.
Glibbity-glop. Right down in there.
Thick.
12 ounces of fresh squeezed orange juice from the fruit.
Maple orange juice.
1 bottle, a full fucking bottle of your choice of champagne or sparkling wine. And then an orange sliced up for fun.
A whole orange?
You take 1 orange and then you slice it up and then you use that as like a decoration on the glass.
Ew, with seeds in
A
it?
big old orange, yeah, with seeds, pulp.
It's just floating around in your drink?
Yep.
I don't like that.
It's right there in front of you, Jeremy.
I don't like it.
Cheers.
Hold on.
Cheers to this wonderful maple. Okay. Oh, it's good. Jeremy is so good.
It's very sweet.
So, please enjoy this mimosa on your weekends with your grandma. So there's a mystery today, Jeremy. I can hear an ice cream man.
There's
There's an ice cream
That's
man
a
in the
mystery
fucking
in
background.
itself.
That's a mystery while he's trying to get ice cream out of people so late at night.
pitch black outside.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
He's got a spotlight looking for children.
We need Detective Max on this case.
Somebody else is hunting for children right now with their ice cream truck. So, Jeremy, I have some trivia. So, our story originally, I guess the background of the story takes place in the year 1983. Jeremy, in 1983, what was the national average price for a gallon of gasoline, if you had to guess? 1983. How much for a gallon of gas?
87.
$1.16.
Okay.
That's right. What was the most popular TV show in 1983? If you had to guess.
Do you have multiple choice?
Huh?
You got multiple choice?
No.
Okay. They don't do multiple choice on their show?
Well, they do.
Okay. All right.
do multiple
Because it
choice.
makes a lot more sense than just...
These are more of a flashcard
So
situation.
you've got the answers, so come up with similar answers. Come up with your own multiple choice.
Jeremy, who set the NHL All-Star record for the most number of goals in one period? That's hockey stuff.
Uh-huh.
In 1983.
So give me the choices.
Somebody who's
Come up
a
with,
hockey,
give me names.
Steven Glaberchek,
Okay. I've heard of him. He's good.
Stacy Manigan,
Okay.
Phil Rutger, or Wayne Gretzky.
Is it Rutger or Rutger? Because those were two different guys.
Rutger.
Rutger? Okay, I'm going to go with Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky is
Yep.
correct.
All great guys, but I'm pretty sure he's the one who got the record.
Jeremy, true or false, Chrysler put the first minivan on the market in 1983.
True.
Correct. You did it. What was the most seen movie in 1983?
I see what you're doing.
1983 movies. Was it High School? Was it Death Stalker? Monty Python, The Meaning of Life? Or Star Wars Episode 1? Episode 3.
I was like, wait a minute, what?
The Star Wars Episode 3 probably is in there. And then we have Monty Python, Death Stalker, or High School USA. Most popular movie, 1983.
I'm going to go with Star Wars.
Definitely
Is it Star Wars? Wow.
100% Star Wars.
Shocker. I thought I was between that or high school.
What film won the Academy Award for Best Picture in 1983? Was it Star Wars, Death Stalker, Terms of Endearment, or Volcano?
Volcano.
No.
Terms of endearment.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't even know when Volcano came out.
Me neither. It's Pierce Brosnan, though.
I don't think it was 1983.
No, it was probably 98, 97.
Who won the Super Bowl in 1983, Jeremy? Was it the Dallas Cowboys? Was it the New England Patriots? Was it the Washington Redskins? Or was it the Florida Panthers?
It was the Washington Redskins.
It was the Washington Redskins.
It was.
Why? Why did you know that?
It's because that's who won the Super Bowl in 1983.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that you knew that much about it.
I don't. I knew that.
Oh, we'll do one more. Arnold Schwarzenegger became a U.S. citizen in 1983. Is that true or false?
False.
It is true, Jeremy.
It's false. He's not. I don't consider him an American
Arnold
citizen.
Schwarzenegger became a U.S. citizen in 1983.
You know who was?
What was Stallone doing in 1983?
You mean the guy who was born an American?
Wait, was he doing porn? Is that
No.
his porn years?
No, Rambo came out in
Stallone, 1983.
the first Rambo movie came out in the 70s.
He was doing musicals and dancing in 1983 in the film Staying Alive.
No, he's not in Staying Alive.
That's a picture of him in the movie
That's
Staying Alive.
Frank Stallone.
Nope. Nope, that's Sylvester Stallone.
That's Frank.
Right there.
He's the director.
Look how short he is.
He's the director.
But look at him. That's Sylvester Stallone.
Mike, it's his movie.
There's lots of pictures
Yeah.
of Sylvester Stallone
On the shooting of the movie?
in the movie that was in. Yep. It got really bad reviews.
Who's the main...
Director, Sylvester Stallone.
It's the sequel to Saturday Night Fever.
Yes, music composed by Frank Stallone, Bee Gees, Barry Gibb, Maurice Gibb, Robin Gibb, Tommy Gibb, and more. It's not Tommy Gibb, it's Tommy Farragher or something, Farrager. But anyway, Sylvester Stallone wasn't doing a whole lot in 1983.
You're fucking smoked out.
So let's just be honest about that. Jeremy, mysteries. Mysteries are abound. They're afoot. The Mysteries and Mimosas podcast wants to find out what usually happens to missing people, but we're here to find out about one other specific mystery. I didn't want to do another true crime. We've done it too much too fast. So what happened to Don Decker, Jeremy? The story of Don Decker. Are you familiar with this gentleman?
Yeah, he's a Blade Runner.
One would say so. It's possible. Jeremy, I guess you know more about the story than I thought.
He dreams of electric sheep.
In February 24th, 1980, that was the novel that went to Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. The funeral of James Cassaw, Jeremy. Cassaw's grandson, who's 21-year-old Don Decker of Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. He was granted a reprieve, a furlough, if you will, from the jail to attend the funeral of his grandfather. Don, at the time, was serving a 4 to 12-month sentence for receiving stolen goods.
What?
So he went online
fucked up.
in 83.
Someone just gives you some stolen good. What is this, the cable guy?
Yeah, it's like he went on and he's like, oh, stereo system, cool, from Facebook Marketplace. And then he buys it, and then he's arrested, and he's in jail for up to a year.
Sir, this guy broke into my house and put all this stuff here.
What am I going to do with it if I don't just sell it? No one at the funeral knew that he had a dark secret. His grandfather. He pretended to mourn Don at his grandfather's funeral, who had physically abused him from the time that he was just 7 years old. Here's a quote, Jeremy. No other part of the family knew anything about what happened, and it was like good fighting evil. The evil was gone, and I was hoping, that everything would change. I guess that's Don saying that about his grandfather when he died. But you know what, Jeremy? Things did change for Don.
In what way?
Crazier than you would ever imagine.
Okay.
After the funeral, Don spent the night with his friends, Bob and Janine Kiefer. I guess he had a long weekend away from jail. So he went and stayed the night at his friend's house.
Dope.
But Jeremy, that's when unexplained things began to happen. While he was away from jail, attending his grandfather's funeral. I'm now a Sith Lord.
Go, you've been born with midichlorians.
It was at Kiefer's home that all the uneasy feelings stirred up at the funeral came back to haunt Don. Suddenly he felt a deep chill at almost the same time, but
Not quite, but almost the same time. Like it was pretty darn close.
Water began to drip from the ceilings. Don says he fell into a strange, trance-like state. He just began to veg out while this was happening. His friends notified the landlord, Ron Van Y. That's a name. That Ron Van Y. Three words, Ron being the first word, Van, and then the word Y, W-H-Y, Y. Ron Van Y is one, not Ron Van Winkle, Ron Van Y.
Ron Van
Ron Van Y. Ron Van Y.
Ron Van Y.
Why, Ron Van? Why? When Ron arrived, when Ron arrived, he was just as puzzled by the problem as the Kiefers. And I quote, "We decided maybe it was the plumbing, but there was no pipes in the front end of the house to leak. There was basically nothing there that the water could have come from. After watching it for a while, I discovered it was only coming from the ceiling down. It could come from wall over or from floor up. There was no basic direction that it was coming from. It could come from anywhere." So this guy shows up, the landlord, and he's like, "I don't know where this water's coming from." But Ron is there. Well, Ron is the landlord. Dan.
Don.
Don. Is that his name?
Ron and Don.
Don. Yes, thank you, Jeremy. So Don is there in a trance, and water's coming around and leaking in the house, inside in the room that they're in. There's water there, right?
Yes.
Crazy. Ron, the landlord, telephoned his wife, Romaine. Why?
What'd she say? She said, "Let us be."
Romaine, why? And he notified the police. Patrolman Richard Wolbert arrived at the scene. So fucking Ron, the landlord, calls the police and his wife, Romaine, calls both of them. The police show up. Do you want to know what the police officer says?
What?
He says, "At this point, he was telling me, I just want you to walk into the house. I said, I'm not walking into the house unless you explain to me what I'm walking into. He says, trust me, just walk into the house. So I walked in the door, and he came right in behind me. And I couldn't get 2 steps inside the door, and I was absolutely pelted." Meaning that at this point, the water inside the house began to produce a torrential downpour inside the building, the room that Don was in.
This is a 2-story house?
I don't know.
Just let the bathtub overflow
Well,
upstairs?
the landlord said that there's no pipes anywhere in the area. Like,
Right.
So when the landlord got there, he's like, "There's no pipes where this is happening. This is weird. It's coming from the ground. It's coming from the wall. It's coming from the ceiling. It's coming
there's-
from all over the place."
I mean, there's pipes somewhere.
Well, yeah,
There's a shower, sink,
but not in the living room.
toilet. Yeah, but all the pipes and stuff are in the walls.
All right, fair enough. You know what, Jeremy? Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind as I continue this mystery
Okay.
of Super Don. Officer Wolbert said that not only was it raining inside, and that's the word that he used, was raining inside, but that the water drops defied physics. So as he's watching the water inside the room, and this is an officer of the law, he said, "We were standing just inside the front door and met this droplet of water traveling horizontally. It passed between us and just traveled out into the next room. Space water. Mystery."
It's mystery space water.
And then another officer came by, and this is his statement about the so not only was Mr. Wolbert the first officer to arrive who gave that statement about what he saw, the next officer to show up as backup gave this statement in regards to what he noticed at the abode. "I literally had a chill going up my spine. Made the hair stand up on your neck. That's how I felt. This was a situation where things were happening that I never ever dreamed could possibly happen. And there was no way of explaining what was going on." So these people show up, and these cops just show up to this dude's, he's staying with these friends. The cops show up after the landlord shows up, and the landlord doesn't know what's going on. He calls the police. The police show up. They're like, "What the fuck? Holy shit! Holy shit balls!
It's wet inside.
It's wet and it's traveling horizontally. Space magic."
Help, officer down. Shooting water against us from everywhere. They live in the walls.
They got a damn Jedi mind tricks. Oh, Star Wars is out. What a hit movie.
God, it's just like one of them Star Wars.
It's like one of them Star Wars that's happening. The midichlorians, he's the one.
I'm being water attacked by Ewoks.
Was that in Star Wars, the first one? Were Ewoks in the first episode?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then he wouldn't have known about Ewoks.
Yeah.
This is 1983.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was the first Star Wars.
No. Yeah, okay, I was right. The first Star Wars came out in 1977.
Oh. Okay. So this is 83.
There were Ewoks.
There's definitely Ewoks.
Yes.
Wait, so which Star Wars came out in 83?
The third one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they took a break until
It's not like
early,
we did trivia about it
early
earlier
2000s.
that I don't remember about. Anyway, we're not doing Star Wars anymore until April. So I don't have to worry about it. But so, Jeremy, those two police officers that showed up to this house, they both called their police chief, Jeremy. They report the incident to the police chief. The Kiefers and Don walk across the street to get something to eat. I guess they had some rumblies in their tummies.
In their tumblies.
Yeah. And then they wanted to get some food. So that means that the police are there. They're seeing all this crazy shit. Mm-hmm. And Don's there. He's in a trance. And then the Kiefers are like, this guy's fucking bananas. The landlord's there. And then they're like, hold on, guys. We're going to go to In-N-Out.
There's no In-N-Out.
We got to get some burgers.
It's 83. We're going to White Castle.
We're going to White Castle. We're going to the new McDonald's. So they walk across the street. Ron Van Wy, the landlord, and his wife stayed at the house. They said they left and everything else left too. The rain stopped. The house was normal. We were kind of thinking that maybe it was coming from them, and we weren't sure at that time which one was doing it. So the landlord, once he knows that Don and the Kiefers left, all the weird shit stopped happening at the house. So when they left, the weird stuff left with them.
There's just a cloud above them as they're walking down the street to McDonald's.
Or the restaurant owned by Pam Scrofano,
Italian.
supposedly. So Pam Scrofano, who owned the restaurant across from the Kiefers' house, had visited them earlier that day and had seen the rain firsthand.
She came, hey, do you mind if I store these bags of water in your walls?
So, as the rain was happening, the restaurant owner from across the street was also there for some reason.
She comes in like, I got all these fish in bags, but I got no place to put them. Can I keep them in your walls?
Hey, listen, my utility bill is bananas. Could you help me out with that? You know, I got to boil a lot of pasta over here at Pam's restaurant. Could you give me some water?
I want to surprise the kids with a pool. Can I put it in your attic for now?
So she saw it firsthand. Pam was the first person to say, as a firsthand witness, that Don Decker, as he was sitting in her restaurant at that point with the Kiefers, she made the statement that he was possessed by evil spirits.
Okay.
Demons!
How did she, was it his order? Like what the food he ordered?
Well,
like,
she saw him at the house. She was over there. Pam, the restaurant owner, had seen everything happen at the house. And then when she went back across the street to go to work, she was like, why are you here? I was just at your house. Now you're at my restaurant. And then she started making comments about how he was possessed by evil spirits. She said, and I quote, "You looked at Donnie and he was like in a trance. He would look at you, but not knowing you were there. I said to Jeannie, he's got to be possessed. We're sitting there. A couple of seconds later, there's water all over the pizzeria."
Hey, got water in my pie.
I've never seen anything like that happen. I went in the cash register. I had a crucifix there. So I took it out. I put it on him. And the minute that I put it on him, it touched his skin. He got burned. So she went over to like grab her crucifix, like, you know, like vampire crucifix. And then she was in her cash register, which is also weird.
It was in the cash register next to the grill.
Lord, please bless my gains.
I picked up my cross and then I dropped it on the grill for a second and then I touched his skin with it.
And
he burned.
And he got burned by the crucifix. There's no way that anybody could have played a joke like that. This was real. Donnie was doing it himself. He was doing it without realizing he was doing it. So they're just like, well, it's following Don. It's got to be him.
So if he's producing this water and rain everywhere he goes, is that demon possession or is he like helping stuff grow?
He got burned by a cross, Jeremy. As soon as she touched him with her hot grill crucifix, he got burned.
There's people praying for rain and water.
Oh, yeah.
Put them in a tank. It's clean drinking water from
Yeah, this is a missed opportunity for sure. Absolutely. Hey everybody, Future Michael here. Just want to tell you about our band of the week. It's J. Luke. This guy, man, he's done it all. He's performed gigs with Duff McKagan of Guns N' Roses, Wasp, Metal Church, To Die For from Finland, Joey Belladonna of Anthrax, and Richie Ramone of the Ramones, to name a few. But check him out. Go to his Spotify. The link will be in the description. Great music, good stuff. I've been listening to it pretty heavily, so I've enjoying it. Thanks for sending it in, J. Luke. We're brought to you by Dungeon Studios, makers of 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons modules. You could go to their website, dungeonstudios.co, and what would you find there? You'll find modules for Dungeons & Dragons. Very exciting. You're bored and you need something to do. You've already binged all of the shows on the internet, and you have nothing left. You only things to give, and give you will by dungeon mastering for your friends and getting a module to start. Do that. Please. All right, bye. Even Don Decker began to believe that he was somehow responsible. No shit. The rain began to start in the restaurant. So as he traveled from the Kiefer's house, he goes across the street into the restaurant. The rain begins to happen in that place too. This is Don's reaction to now making it rain inside of the pizzeria. That made me more sure that I had something to do with it because it was following me. And it didn't start raining in the house until I got there.
Is this what he sounds like?
Yes. They were living there and nothing ever happened. And that's when I started realizing that it was me. I don't know if that's what he sounds like.
Yeah, okay. Not very menacing. He's like, I don't know why everything's wet.
Everything is so wet.
Everywhere I go. That lady hit me
It's
with
kind of strange. She burned me with a grill.
she said it was a cross, but it was a lighter.
She burned me with her Zippo and said I was possessed by demons.
What's his guy? Don Decker?
Don Decker. So back at the Kiefer's house, Romaine, the landlord's wife, confronted Don, accusing him of somehow causing all the trouble. Don Decker recalled, stating, "The pots and pans over the stove started rattling.
Wait, he's from Pennsylvania.
That's when I got levitated off the floor.
He's from
I
Pennsylvania.
was just like floating." He's turning into Forrest
He's
Gump.
from Pennsylvania.
Then it was like a push. It wasn't like somebody taking their hand and pushing me. It was like feeling it all over your body at once. I'm a big guy, you know. I've always been assertive, and that made me feel like a newborn. You know, I'm scared right now just talking about it, really. So he starts floating around, Jeremy. He got levitated off the floor.
So he said.
Yeah. And
Right.
started floating around. So this is at the Kiefer's house after he went to go get a pizza pie from Pam, right? So he got a pizza pie and then he made it rain. And so he's got a wet pizza pie. And then he goes back to the Kiefer's house. And now he's levitating off the floor, flying around all over the place, banging into shit, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone agrees that happened. Everyone who was there saw it fucking happen. The person who owns the building, person who owns the building's wife. I don't know if the cops were still there at that point, but they saw this happen. So a few hours after that strange incident in the kitchen, officers Bajan and Wolbert arrived with their chief officer, Bajan, who describes what happens. This is one of the police officers who was there when this took place. This is his statement about what occurred. When the chief got to the house, he was pelted with water, just as Rich and I were. I got the impression that he was put on the spot, maybe a little bit embarrassed, like we expected something out of him that he could answer. There was no way to explain what happened. I think he was put in a position where he might have felt a little uncomfortable. The police chief announced that the problem was a plumbing issue and ordered his officers to leave the Kiefer house. Officer Baujan said that they were told not to file a report and not to even talk about the incident. Well, he just flat out denied it. It didn't happen. And he tried to convince me that nothing happened. He wasn't going to do that. I saw it. And that's all that there is to it. And then the next day, Jeremy, those 3 officers ignored the orders of the police chief. They went to the Kiefer home to continue their investigation, in which one of the officers was Bill Davies.
Good. I fucking love Officer Bill Davies, dude. He's pretty much the best fucking cop that it's been around, dude. Good. He's gonna get to the bottom of this.
So when those police officers went back into the house the next day, they knew they got an idea of what was happening. They got the report from the lady next door, at the pizzeria, who burned him with a cross. So they bring their own cross, the police officers, and they ask him to hold it. And then the next thing he says, it's burning my hands, and there's no explanation for it. When you picked it up, when you grabbed it, it's not hot, but it's hot when I held on to it, is what he says.
Okay. Someone put a cross in his hand, and he was like, it hurts, it's getting warmer.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
You're going off of a guy that's saying, oh no!
Oh, it's getting so warm. No, but when you touch it, it's not as warm. But when I touch it, it is
It's
warm,
like
though.
super hot when I touch it, but not when you touch
You
it.
wouldn't understand. It doesn't burn in your hand, Amy.
Look at it. Look at my face when I hold it. Ah!
God damn it, Pam, I'm different.
Damn it, Pam. And then, Jeremy, everyone says that he then again started floating off of the floor. And at this point that they have a lieutenant with them, John Rundle, who also witnessed this second levitation, Lieutenant John Rundle. And he said all of a sudden he lifted up off the ground and he flew across the room with the force as though a bus had hit him. With the power of the force. From the popular Star Wars movies.
It was like, I wish I could say there was some kind of thing inside of him that gave them the amount of powers they have. Maybe they'll solve that issue in the early 2000s.
There were 3 claw marks on the side of his neck, which drew blood. I have no answer for it whatsoever, and I just drew a blank, even today. So the lieutenant who was there the following day, when they gave him a cross, he says, it burns. He started floating in the air. He flew across the room, and then there was a bunch of gash marks in his neck.
All these people were doing drugs.
It's a lot of people. It just keeps going. And
They're all just trying to cover
not in
up
one
the mistake.
spot.
They're trying to cover up the mistake that they've made.
And then Davies, remember, Jeremy, you remember Mr. Davies?
Yeah, he's the greatest cop
The greatest cop who ever
in
lived.
1983.
He says, I've been a cop for 40 years, and I've never seen anything like this. Never. There's always an explanation when something happens. If you got to investigate, you come up with something. This is why it happened. For this case, there's no explanation, is what Davies said in regards to what he witnessed.
Well, Davey's a
that following
bum.
day. He's a bum now.
He's a bum.
He's a beat cop
Doesn't
with
know-
nothing to do.
Fuck, probably caught up in this fucking drug ring with him.
Night number 3. The landlord, Ron Van Wy, asked a preacher to come to the house and try an exorcism on day 3. That's pretty quick. That's a pretty quick turnaround.
I mean, yeah.
For an exorcism.
Like, have they gave any food to this guy since he's been tweaking out for 3 days?
I don't know. But, they asked everyone to do an exorcism. No one would say yes. Probably because they're like, you've been watching too many Star Wars movies.
All those Star Wars exorcisms. What,
Here
you
in the
think
great state of Pennsylvania.
You think he's been possessed by some kind of spirit ghost? Some force ghost?
Spirit ghost.
Well, you think old Ben Kenobi's floating around inside your friend? Get out of here.
Ron Van Wy, the landlord, states, when they finally got somebody to come in and pray over Dawn Decker, as she started to pray, Donnie went into a convulsion. He started to shake. He pulled himself up like a ball, and the longer she prayed, he started to relax. Romaine, his wife, fucking crazy name, she said she felt a change in the house. His whole body seemed to quiet completely down.
There, thank you. And as you're standing there watching this, you could feel the house itself seem to take on a total different feeling.
Ron Van Wy states, and by the time she got done praying, the water was gone. And then that was like, I was like, oh, we didn't see any water at the house at all. The mysterious rain gone. Don Decker appeared to return to his old self, happy hunky-dory. The woman prayed it out of him, the water, and levitating.
What did he say when he came back and he was all better?
They put me in a maximum security cell. I was in there with another inmate, and I was thinking, I should make it rain in here. And all of a sudden, water started coming out of the concrete floor. And at that point, I thought,
I can do stuff.
So this is when Don, once he's in, a cell, after he was done with his, a furlough away for his grandfather's funeral. So he had to go back into his cell, right? And then that's when he started making it rain at the fucking prison. So now he's gone from one location with, you could call it whatever you want. He went from one house, made it rain, went into across the street to a pizzeria, made it rain, went back to the other house, started levitating, flying across the house and stuff. All these cops are there. They all see it. And then he goes back to prison, and then he starts to fucking make it rain in his fucking prison with another full set of different people with recollection of what happened. So this is what happens, Jeremy. So according to Don, he now realized that he could control the rain. He's an X-Man.
Yes, superpowers. With
Especially
my demon powers, I shall put out these fires.
That's when I was like, I can do stuff. A skeptical guard challenged him to make it rain in the warden's office while he's in his cell. So he's in his prison cell, and then the guard's like, make it rain in the warden's office, you little shit.
You can't make it rain.
You can't make it rain over there.
I can make it rain. He pulls his dick out. Peace
Yeah.
yeah. I can make it rain. You ain't raining on shit.
The warden of the prison, Warden Keenhold, recalled, I was sitting at the desk writing a report. I was all by myself in the administration area. Nobody else was around. It was approximately 8 in the evening. At the time, I didn't feel anything, but my shirt was drooping down. An officer entered and told Warden Keenshaw to look at his shirt. And right about the center of my sternum, about 4 inches long, 2 inches wide. Did he use his rain power to make a dick on his shirt?
Dude, just a wet dick.
It's just a wet dick and British on his shirt. I have superpowers.
He's doing it like an Etch-a-Sketch in the air.
Yeah, he's drawing a dick out of water on the warden's shirt. So he says, my center about 4 inches long, 2 inches wide. I was just saturated with water. I was startled. I was scared. The officer was frightened at that particular time, and I just didn't have an explanation as to why it happened. So then the warden calls in the Reverend William Blackburn from Skyrim.
Gonna bring in some burn to take care of this water problem.
Some stupid.
Turn this water into steam.
Can you read it in the voice of William Blackburn?
All of a sudden, I received this frantic call from a sergeant in the jail. And he said, can you come over? We need your help. So he brought this very meek and mild-mannered young man into the room, and he was asking for my help.
The Reverend William Blackburn.
Yeah, the Reverend
Yes.
William
Yep.
Blackburn. Mm-hmm.
And then Don told the Reverend that he could make it rain, and that crosses burned. Hey man, I'm like I got superpowers. I can make it rain, and then crosses is like they burn and stuff.
The only person around here who's got superpowers is the Lord Jesus himself.
With his ice powers.
I am Reverend Blackburn. I cast the evil wetness from your soul.
And according to the Reverend Blackburn, he told Don to admit that he was just making things up.
Tell me the truth, boy.
I have another quote if you want.
All of a sudden, his demeanor changed, and the smell came into this room, Lord. Nurses and doctors, medical people say, when you walk into a room where someone is dying with a cancer or something, usually there's a smell. You can tell when you walk in the room. I smelled a smell that multiplied 5 times at least.
Smell the smelly smell.
Evil, foreboding, he raised his hand and rubbed his fingers together. And all of a sudden it started to rain. It was like the devil's rain. It was a mist. I was in the presence of evil. I opened up the Bible and started to read to him. But the pages never got wet. So help me. It was a frightening thing. I think I was praying more for me than for him. I prayed, and it was only a brief period, and the rain stopped. Reverend Blackburn said he noticed a sudden change in Don as well. He subsided, and you could feel a peace. He said, "Thank you, Reverend." He got tears in his eyes. We hugged and prayed together. He was possessed. There was no doubt in my mind there's no way a human could do what he did in that room. There's no way that he did anything. But what he did was spiritual. And it wasn't a god. Guaranteed it was not a god. And Don Deckler said that he feels like the bizarre occurrences won't happen again.
I wonder if that's where our story ends. It doesn't, Jimmy.
Now it's his quote.
Well, it's over, Reverend Gibbly-Gob.
I'm no longer possessed.
I'm no longer possessed.
You freed me, Reverend.
Hey, Reverend, it hasn't happened again. Basically, I'm just hoping that it never will. And I just, go day by day. And as for my grandfather, I think what had happened was his doing. He's an evil guy. Because he abused me when I was young. He got a chance to abuse me again.
Well, I think you're perfectly cured, young man.
Thank you, Reverend.
Oh, you sound completely normal to me. I wish you all the best, good sir.
I'll suck your dick for $1,000.
Oh, you're such a funny, clever boy.
Oh, my God. This is funny. Chip Decker, no relation to Don. Just another Decker. Him and Peter Jordan are the main paranormal researchers on the case. Chip was impressed with the eyewitness accounts, so he started to dig.
I think what makes this case very unique is that all of the witnesses are so credible. We're dealing with a very good, well-seasoned police officers that are obviously rather frightened and shaken by this, but also have the powers of observation.
So that's what the paranormal investigator said. Now we have a guy named Peter Jordan. And he says, the Donald Decker case is by far the singularly most fascinating and important case I have ever personally been involved with in the glorious state of Pennsylvania. That does not mean I believe that it is necessarily proof positive to me of demonic infestation, but it is the case in my own personal experience up to this point that comes the closest to that hypothesis. 9 eyewitnesses in all, Jeremy, plus Don himself, were willing to go on record saying that they saw, heard, and felt phenomena, apparently not of this world, and they continue to believe that Don was possessed by the devil. They have found no other explanation for this bizarre event other than the fact that he says that crosses burned his little tum-tum and that he did crazy stuff with water in places that he was.
Yeah, all that crazy stuff was happening there. It definitely had nothing to do with all the ketamine.
So Jeremy, if you had to break this story down and kind of get an idea of what was really going on, honestly,
yes,
with this story, with this many people, so many locations, people with really powerful roles. Officers, lieutenants, reverends, people at the people who ran the whole jail and stuff. Like all these people said the same thing of these firsthand accounts of crazy experiences. Well, other than the fact that, are you going to say that the argument is that they were just crazy? I doubt that people with this much power would be such in a hallucinogenic mode that they would imagine any of it. So as these things are happening in these various locations around this same guy, what do you think is really going on?
So when you think about the story, when you're hearing it, right, and they say he was picked up and he flew across the room and the water was moving horizontal and the water was coming from nowhere. We picture it in our head like a movie, like they're all in the room and the water's going crazy and the guy gets picked up and they're all watching him rise to the air and he flings across the room. Like we're picturing it like a movie. In reality, when something like this happens, is the guy was here and we're all looking at him and all this, oh man, it's crazy how wet it is. It shouldn't be wet in here. There's not even pipes. And then all of a sudden he's over here and he falls down on the ground and they're like, whoa. And then you look over and one person goes, he flew. He's the devil spawn. He flew across the room. I saw it with my eyes. And then they all kind of go like, well, I can't imagine how he would have just stumbled across
the pizzeria.
Like he just stumbled across the room. I guess he flew across the room. She saw it. I guess we all saw it. He flew across the room. It was crazy. It's just because one person thinks they saw something in the middle of a hysteria. They'll go, "This is what happened," and other people will go, "Yep, that's exactly what happened."
Hysteria being a very closely studied phenomenon.
There's water coming through. If there's water coming through, and we don't even know, it didn't even say copious amounts of water.
What if this guy just knew how to turn on the emergency sprinkler systems everywhere he goes? He's just got a lighter in his hand. And
it's coming from inside me. I'm so sad. Granddad's gone.
He's standing on a stool with a lighter in the air. Don't give me that cross, it burns.
And from what I looked up, I was looking stuff up while you're reading the story. They don't have any pictures. No one took any videos of nothing.
What are they going to take videos with? These are cops.
Mike, it's 1983, not 1953.
Yeah, these are beat cops. They don't have video cassette tape player.
You don't think that they could have gotten any type of pictures of any of this happening? They put him in a jail cell. They're like, this guy's been making it rain everywhere. And they're like, oh, it's raining in the warden's office. The nearest camera must be in Alaska. Like they can take evidence and get evidence of these things happening. They didn't do that.
I think
people are dumb.
You think that's what it is?
I think a lot of people are dumb.
But I guess the mystery will never be solved. So, sorry, guys. We are Majizzy Pod.
That guy sucks.
MJ.
And if it was his only power was to just make it rain, what an idiot.
And be burned by crosses.
And it doesn't even say how much rain it was. Like, was the place was it flooded?
The guy said pelted. He was being pelted.
Yeah,
was
but
the
you
word
can
that he
be
used.
you get pelted with a snowball.
Right. So if you use that defining term, pelted means that you're being hit with enough force as it's happening to use the word pelted.
I don't think so.
We are Majizzy Pod.
I think if you're just walking in water's like, oh, that's uncomfortable. I'm being pelted with water. They're all dumb. Pennsylvania's a weird place.
Yeah, it is.
Shout out, Christopher
Walken.
Hannian.
R.I.P.
Big dog.
We are Majizzy Pod. MJSYPOD on all the things. Follow our social media pages. Make sure if you're listening to this on your podcast platform that you give us 5 stars, please. It leads more Majizzies over to us to listen to the wonderful podcasts that we steal. Like this one today, Mysteries and Mimosas, run by Max and Aria. So thank you guys. And make sure you check out their show, Mysteries and Mimosas. He definitely sounds like Will Forte. I think everybody would agree with me that he sounds like Will Forte. Make sure you go to our email on our website or however you want to do it. Our website is majizzypod.com, MJSYPOD. And our email is UHJYEAH at majizzypod.com. Submit your music. We'll share your band and support you and promote you at no cost, other than we get a sick theme song for the week and you get your band promoted. Go to our second channel and on Spotify, Michael and Jeremy Steal Your Podcast Supreme, where we have all of our additional content, all the interviews with the shows that we steal, all of the extra things that you crave. It is our Patreon account that is linked to Spotify. And if you just want to go to the Patreon, it's patreon.com/MacHizzyPod. We buried a treasure. We're hiding clues. Go find it.
See, you did it again.
Bitch.
It's buried.
It is buried.
Yep.
It's in the ground. I posted a picture on Facebook of it being in the ground.
Yep.
So go find it, bitches.
There's good stuff in there.
There's a big old wooden dick in that box.
And jewels.
Hand carved by somebody who hates themselves.
Lonely.
It's Blackbeard's dildo, thought lost to time, who was carved by somebody who hates themselves. Anything else, Jeremy? Go to our shop.
We were talking about
Support our show.
expanding to doing some video, adding some video elements to the show.
We think that it would be great to include video things for our show so people could enjoy it as we do it for you in video. And that is something that we need your help with. So please support our show. Go to our Patreon page. Sign up. You get extra stuff out of it. It's not just a free donation. Or if you're that type of person that just wants to send a one-time donation, I'll make it available for you. If you go to our website, click on the button Donate, and I will make it easy for you to just send us your $2 billion. You got too much money. You know, you're just sitting on it. You want to invest it in something wonderful. And you're a billionaire, so you send us $4 million as a one-time donation. It's tax deductible.
We'll put it all right into the podcast.
Yeah, we put it all into the podcast. Be able to get Dean Cain on finally. Okay. I think that's it, Jeremy.
Love you, buddy.
I love you too.
Peace.
Bye.
Oh boy, Mike, that was a really great episode. I had a lot of fun.
Yes, me too. I did as well.
Did you?
I did.
That was pretty crazy.
Oh gosh, I mean, did you ever think that guy would become an X-Man?
Nope.
Me either.
They're real, dude.
It's crazy. I wonder how the mystery with our grandmother's going.
Oh, we should probably find those detectives.
Yeah.
Detectives?
I wonder if they're here.
Here I am. Here I am.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect
Yes.
Oh, he's
timing.
also a master of disguise.
It is perfect timing. Well, we were kind of hanging outside the door, just waiting for you all to finish. I didn't know you were ready, but I've got some updates on your grandma, and I hope you took care of our podcast.
Oh, no, we took great care of your podcast. Tell us about Inga Bubba.
Who's Inga Bubba?
That's
Inga
Grandma.
Bubba's our
that's the
grandmother.
boyfriend.
That was not a very good detective.
It's Hebrew. It's a Hebrew way of describing a grandmother.
Wow, thank you. I learned something new from you. She's fine.
Oh,
I'm happy to report that your grandmother's vagina is perfectly fine. I did not inspect it, but she reassured me over and over it's just fine.
okay. And what hospital is she in?
She's not in the hospital. She's in a nursing home.
Oh,
I keep telling
So
you.
shame on you for wasting our time.
Oh, the pamphlets.
Shame on you for sending us on a wild goose chase.
Well, I mean, did you have fun at least?
We had a ton of fun. We went to Arby's,
Yep.
got the roast beef sandwich in light
Curly
of the
fries.
problem with your grandmother.
Have you ever gone to Arby's and gotten the meat mountain?
No,
No.
but we thought we would start with the roast beef sandwich before investigating the grandmother issue.
Fair enough. Well, next time on your birthday, go for the meat mountain.
We should get a sponsorship from Arby's.
We should.
We should get a sponsorship.
And Dave and Buster's. Both of those.
And a nursing home, for that matter.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, thank you so much for taking care of our Ega Bubba. And here's your podcast. It's a little wet in here, a little precipitation due to the
Yeah, I noticed.
storyline. Yeah, so I'm so sorry about that. We sponged as much as
Can
we
you
could.
can you tell me why our podcast studio is so moist?
Well,
I tried to recreate the story.
Yeah, Jeremy did his best to he brought in a sprinkler once I told him about how the guy would make it rain inside of buildings. So Jeremy tried his best to try and make it real for
It was like
me and him.
Mythbuster.
Yeah, Mythbuster type thing. He was like, how could he possibly have done that if it wasn't demons? But that's the way it goes sometimes. Science.
Sounds like you had a whole lot more fun than we did.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't go to Arby's, so
Yeah, and Inga Bubba's kind of handsy.
There's that.
yeah. Sorry, Max.
It's fine. It's all fine.
Is it?
It's fine. I've experienced worse.
She's mounted every branch of the military. I don't think she's been with a detective before.
That is true. Yeah, we have 2 more quotes from Blackburn.
It didn't work, and then it worked. It didn't give me anything, and then it gave me
All of
everything.
it. It gave you all of it.
I didn't want that much.